How's it going, everyone? This is Eflex and welcome back to another A Producer's Approach video. In this video we're going to be looking at Teminite song State of Mind, the live performance video. So if you guys haven't watched my videos in the past, I basically break down these videos into 3 separate sections. I have an intro backstory section, then after that I have a breakdown analysis section, then lastly I have an outro section. So this song by Teminite, State of Mind, is a song I connect a lot to. This is the song that came out at around the time I was, finishing up my college career, and I was just, listening to this song kind of right before I was about to graduate. So I remember listening to this song a lot, working on papers and working on homework and studying. And I don't know, every time I listen to this song, it just kind of reminds me of that time period before I left college, and just kind of reminds me of my college experience and just where I was in that time period of, my college life, and just how that year went and kind of my end of college career year. So anyways, I didn't realize that Teminite made a live performance video until a year later, I think, after the song came out. And this is actually Teminite's very first live performance video, which is pretty impressive because, as you've seen from his other 3, he seems like a natural at doing it. But this was his very first live performance video. And I have to say, I'm really glad he chose State of Mind, because this song is so unique. It's a pretty long song, as you can see, but it's a pretty unique song as well, which is why it was great for me to listen to while studying, because I didn't have to, switch to different songs, or, I didn't have to choose which song I wanted after. That was pretty short. I could just kind of either have this one on loop, or I could just play it and not worry for a little while before, I need to switch to a different song, so I didn't lose my focus or anything like that. So this is his first live performance video. As you guys have seen in the last video, Haywire started off that structure of the live performance video with the Nord Stage keyboards, not computers, Nord Stage keyboards. And this was his first attempt at replicating that Haywire live performance style. So this is Teminite's song State of Mind, and let's get into the video. All right, so it's really cool. You kind of hear the pad in the beginning play, which is really cool, kind of introduces the theme and tone of the song. And then you hear the plucks playing, which is really cool. That's kind of what drew me to this song in the beginning. And with this live performance video, Teminite actually adds different elements that aren't in the recording release. So this piano part is not in the original kind of record release on his EP Uprising, where the song is. The original recording doesn't have this piano section, so it's kind of cool how he added little different live bits into this performance video. So it's a little bit different than his actual recorded release song on his EP or album. So just wanted to throw that in there. So now that piano played, the plucks played, and the pad played, and is going to transition into his lead sound. So let's keep going. All right, so that section is cool. So the lead sound is playing. The plucks are still playing, which you could tell his keyboarding skills are really good too. And then there's also a synth sound in the background that's slowly kind of building up. It's in the same kind of frequency as the lead sound, but it's a little bit lower in volume. And but it's just kind of slowly building up for this section. And the plucks kind of eventually start to fade out a little bit, and there's a VFX and noise as the transition happens, and he does the infamous piano sweep, which is always really cool to see. So that part's really cool, kind of sets the scene with his lead sound. It just kind of goes you know, a little bit differently, you know, introducing that kind of main lead sound in the beginning part. So I like that melodic part, and let's keep going.
I can feel the evolution. All my time no longer frozen. The meaning of the interval. I don't know who I will become, but I know what I want more than ever before.
All right, so it's really cool in this section. So you kind of hear his vocoded vocals, and that's kind of an influence from Haywire's style. Haywire was kind of the artist to mix a lot of vocoded vocals that he recorded with pianos. So that's kind of the takeaway from Haywire's style of music. And I like how he paired that section of his vocals with the piano. I don't think the piano is actually in the recorded release, so that's really cool. But you kind of hear the plucks in the background. So I think the vocals, if I remember correctly, the vocoded vocals are paired kind of with those plucks on the bottom playing the chord progression. So I like the addition in this live performance with the piano chords he's playing. Gives it a little more texture and just fills the space a little bit more. So that's really nice. So let's keep going. All right, so that is the build-up section. Really cool. You kind of hear the piano playing with the chords. I don't remember exactly in the recorded version if it is like a different sounding piano, but he's playing the piano chords along with either the recorded piano or a synth sound playing the chord progression. You hear the vocoded vocals still going, saying outside, the state of mind, so saying kind of the vocal hook of the song. And then you kind of hear a hawk sample, kind of like a cry of a hawk, like yeah, like you hear that in the background, which is really cool. And then you kind of have a white noise sweep, but you don't have a percussion sweep in this, like a percussion buildup. You just have like a white noise sweep. You do have a snare right at the end, and then there's like a vocal sample that goes yeah, and then it's gonna drop. But it's pretty cool how there's no percussion like snare buildup in this song for the transition into the drop, which I think is pretty cool, pretty unique in that sense. For the style of this song, it's pretty unique in that sense. So overall, this section's really good. I like the use of that and just the overall sounds in general. So let's get into this first drop. All right, so it's really cool. What I forgot to mention in that kind of build-up section is he introduced the lead synth sound in there. And then in this section, you hear the lead synth sound. So it's really cool. The percussion is a halftime rhythm. So kick on 1, snare on 3 with some hi-hats playing a little bit more frequently for this drop to add some flow. You have his lead kind of come in here and there, but you have different unique sound design sounds from Teminite kind of playing like a traditional kind of dubstep rhythm, with all the sounds kind of having a calm response with each other. And then at the end of like the whole bar measure phrases, you have kind of his lead kind of come in to kind of confirm the chord progression and just kind of go along with the chord progression or the progression that's going along. So that's really cool. He has that his dubstep drop kind of there, and I like the use of sounds in this section. You can really tell like which sounds are really being used. There's not too much going on in the background, and the sounds all are cohesive enough to, you know, blend together to go along with the progression. So this part's really cool. He transitions into the more melodic section of the song, so let's keep it going. All right, so you hear the lead playing. You have the percussion rhythm that's pretty similar, halftime rhythm. Doesn't change too much from the first drop. And you have more kind of pluckish type chords playing on the bottom, playing the chord progression. So the lead's playing along with the chord progression, which is a little bit more normal in a melodic song or melodic section of a song. And then I like the vocal chops of oh, pew, 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 kind of like whatever that kind of vocal chop is. It's like a really cool one. It complements and adds some flow in the song. I just like how the first sample is a lot louder than kind of the calm response of the second sample. So the first sample's kind of loud, and then the second one's lowered in volume. So it's just kind of interesting how he did that with that calm response for those two sounds, vocal chops in the background. So that's just really cool. And that overall melodic section is just really good. Just showcases Teminite's style. And again, he does the piano sweep. You can't go wrong with the piano sweep or a keyboard sweep. So this part is the second break section, and he's going to break out his saxophone. So it's going to get really jazzy. So let's get going. All right, so that was the whole sax solo section. Really cool. There were some synthetic sounds, I think like a ARP and maybe like a pad that transitions into that sax solo itself right after the first drop, which is really cool. Then the sax is playing, or the saxophone is playing, and the piano is playing the chord progression, which is really cool. So those two sounds are like the two main focus, and then eventually the percussion comes in. There's kind of like a softer percussion. I think the snare's like the only one that's playing, or maybe a softer kick in the snare. And it's a halftime rhythm. So the snare is kind of coming in on 3, and then a pad eventually comes in when the percussion kind of picks up, and it goes into like a kick snare rhythm with that halftime rhythm, and that kind of plays, and he's playing his saxophone solo. And then that pad gets louder, and then there's like an eventual kind of white noise sweep. So there's no percussion sweep. There's just kind of like a VFX white noise sweep into this kind of breakish build-up section to the second drop. This section is really cool. I like the pairing between the saxophone and the piano throughout that whole section. The percussion comes in, and then there's just kind of like a pad that comes in to add some texture underneath, but doesn't take away from the saxophone and the piano. And for me personally, playing saxophone in the past when I was younger, I can hear like the different accents he's playing. So I could tell that the saxophone part was not the same live recording or not the same, live recording he used for the actual recorded version of the song. Like he actually played this version at a separate time differently, because I could hear like a little bit more accents and stuff than I did in the original version. But this is the section that kind of drew me to the song, because there was no real saxophone incorporation into EDM music at this time. I would say Teminite is the pioneer of that so far. So, each artist kind of pioneers their own thing with these live performance videos and just their style. Like Haywire had the keyboard Nord stage kind of introduction to the live performance. Teminite's incorporation is the saxophone solos, and Oblivion is kind of like the light show aspect to the live performance video. So it's interesting how they all kind of bring their own kind of flavor and style to these live performance videos, even though they're kind of in the same structure as Haywire's videos. So just kind of interesting to point out. So let's keep going.
Feel the evolution. All my time no longer frozen. You made me all the all. I don't know who I will become, but I know what I want more than ever before.
All right, so this section is pretty similar to the kind of intro section. It's a little bit different. The pluck sound on the bottom is a little bit different, but the vocal sample I think is pretty much pretty similar with this kind of vocal phrase, the same kind of coded vocal phrase playing. There might be a little bit of a variation with the phrase, but not too different than the intro of the song. But I just like the incorporation of the pianos in this part, because I think in the original recorded song it's just the vocals and the plucks playing, so that's really cool. And then now you kind of have the bigger part of this kind of build up break section where the pianos have more texture, or there's another sound on the bottom making it sound a lot deeper. So let's keep going. All right, so that was the build-up section. This time I noticed there was a clap in the background into the section, kind of just playing on every beat, which is cool. I don't know if that was in the first build-up of the song, but I noticed it this time. The structure is pretty similar to the first build-up into the first drop, but I just noted that clap sound this time, so I don't know if I missed that the first time around. But anyways, I noticed that there was the same kind of hawk sample used, hawk cry sample used in the middle of that build up, and the vocal phrase I think is similar to the first build up, but I could be wrong, but to me it sounded similar. But anyways, the structure is pretty similar, so kind of same breadth of air, but I don't hear that sample like I did introducing into the second drop that I did into the first drop. So that's just something I missed maybe there. So otherwise, we'll listen to the rest of the song, the second drop, the outro, and I'll just finish up from there. So let's keep going. All right, so that's Teminite's song State of Mind, and we'll back it up to that second drop. So the second drop is structurally kind of similar to the first drop, but it's a little bit longer than the first drop. So the first part of the drop is similar with the sound design used within that section. There is like a more noticeable emphasis on the middle of that first drop to emphasize kind of the kind of cut out in that section and give emphasis to the synth playing in that section. And then transitioning into the second part of the second drop, there was kind of a 8-bit almost ARP lead sound playing in the background to transition. And then in this lead section, he uses like a lot more of the kind of pitch bend knob on the second part of this drop section. You notice that he pitch bends and he goes up to this section of the keyboard and pitch bends certain notes, and the lead sound actually or the lead notation or lead melody changes its notation. So like it's not the exact same lead notes playing as the first drop. Like he changed it quite a bit in this section. And I like how the vocals come back in, like the vocal hook comes back in to kind of complement towards the end of the drop along with the lead sound, which is really cool. And then the lead sound goes like up an octave and he pitch bends it, and it's just really cool. And then you kind of see him, you know, fluttering on the keys, playing, you know, the synth a little bit more freely, I guess, in this live performance version. And then he does a piano sweep at the end to just outro the song. So, yeah, that second drop was pretty good. I like that last section of that second drop. It really kind of sums up the rest of the song and just kind of how much is going on. So anyways, that's Teminite's song State of Mind. This song is really good. It's on the Uprising EP, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the song. And, you know, this is the longest song on the album, I think. But there are a lot of good songs on that album. But this one just stands out as, you know, one of those really good live performance songs. And just some takeaways for me is the jazz section in the middle. That's probably like one of the most unique things that you would hear in a live performance video and in an EDM song in general. So credit to Teminite for kind of pioneering that type of style. The leads and the piano sections are really good. That second part of that second drop is just really good with the incorporation of the vocals playing along with the lead, along with the chord progression super saws kind of on the bottom, which is really nice. The dubstep kind of drop is really cool in both sections, and the pluck sounds used in the song are really cool. I like them a lot. It's really noticeable like when the plucks are like right in the intro of the song. And I like the inclusion that he did of the piano sounds in the song. It's more unique than just, you know, playing the exact same version of the recorded version that you have. So that's like really unique and makes this live performance video more unique than the recorded version of the song. And overall, just the structure of the song is really good. Like, I just like it. It flows really well, and this is probably one of the songs that really almost feels like there's 3 acts to the song. Kind of like his song Unstoppable. There was like almost the feeling of 3 acts. This is the song, like same type of style. Like there's 3 separate sections, and it's very noticeable how varied and different they are, but they all flow really well together and just make a really fantastic song. So credit to Teminite for his first live performance video here. I hope to see him do way more of these live performance videos. I don't mind DJ sets that he does as well, but I'd really like to see these live performance videos in his future making music videos for a lot of his songs. So anyways, I hope you guys like this video. If you guys haven't listened to Teminite's music, definitely listen to his music. The Unstoppable EP is good. The Uprising EP is good. And I think his other older one is the Inception EP. That's like the first EP or album I started listening to. I can't remember if that's the exact name, but I'll have to put that in the comments later. But anyways, I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe on the video. Likes and comments definitely do help. I do try and check for those, and subscribers, I mean, that just helps me towards my kind of goal to 1,000 subscribers. That would be just kind of nice for me, but we'll see if we'll ever make it there or eventually make it there. Who knows? But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. check out Teminite's music, and I hope to see you guys in the next A Producer's Approach video. Alright everyone, have a good one. Peace.